As today we are in lesson 29 of the Geography of Europe class, and today we are going to start talking about the economic geography. Okay, so this is another aspect of political geography. You know, remember we've done lessons on political geography dealing with demographics, population, languages, religion. What else have we done? Government. Okay. Now we are going to do on also on economy. Okay, Haley says I can't see your screen. I am sharing my screen. All right, can you see my screen, everyone? Or okay, yeah. So the material really is fascinating, Sabrina. Thank you. It is very, very interesting topic, and so I hope that we can you know, learn a lot during this class. Haley is going to try to log that in and everything. In the family school, the lesson for the family school, if you have younger siblings, I recommend that you teach this lesson to them. It is centered really around the idea of distinguishing between wants and needs. What are economic wants and what are needs, and how these are satisfied in an economy through goods and services. Okay, so the importance of being able to differentiate between those. So as I was looking into this topic, there's, you know, economy is something that I've studied a lot, and I have had many classes on economy. And so there's a lot really of things that I would like to share. So we are going to talk more first about economy in general, some of the principles of economy and how they relate here to the lesson. And then we are going to try to talk about the economic activity of a place like Europe, all right? So to start, here we have in Wikipedia an article about the economic problem, okay? And this article is very interesting. It has some very important information, and so I'm going to read this first paragraph here about what is the economic problem, because all money-related problems are called the economic problem. So that is kind of a very, very general thing. The economic problem, sometimes called the basic, central, or fundamental economic problem, is one of the fundamental economic theoretical principles in the operation of any economy. So what is this problem? The problem asserts that there is a scarcity. Okay, that is that the finite resources available are insufficient to satisfy all human wants and needs. All right. So one of the kind of fundamental issues of an economic, the economic problem, is this principle of scarcity, that something is valuable because it is scarce. Okay, what does that mean? What does it mean, the term scarcity? Okay, or that something is scarce. What does that mean to you? You can answer on the audio or on the chat, however you want to do it. It says there isn't very much of it. That's right. It's hard to get. Okay, so something that is scarce, it is something that it is not there in overabundance. Okay, and in economy, the principle basically says that these resources, whatever it is, that there is a finite amount of that and it's insufficient to satisfy all of the demand for it, okay? All right. Madeline says, I think of it as another word for rare. That's right. Rare would be another thing, something that is not as common, okay? So the economic problem says the question then becomes how to determine what is to be produced and how the factors of production are to be allocated. Economics revolves around methods and possibilities solving this fundamental economic problem, okay? So the economic problem is about how to decide what to produce, okay? What to do about it. In the article about scarcity, okay, there's here at the top, there is really a good definition of scarcity. And it says, scarcity is the fundamental economic problem of having seemingly unlimited human wants in the world of limited resources. So in economic terms, the resources are limited, but the human wants, okay, I mean, economics usually many times don't differentiate very much between wants and needs, okay, but we are going to talk about what is the difference between the two. So, but those economic wants are unlimited, they are infinite, okay, so and that is an interesting proposition in itself, something to think about. So the scarcity states that society has insufficient productive resources to fulfill all human wants and needs. A common misconception on scarcity is that an item has to be important for it to be scarce, or vice versa. This is not true. Okay, for something to be scarce, something must be given up or traded off in order to obtain it. Okay, so for example, there are many things that are not necessarily important, okay, but because they are scarce, we are willing to give up something in order to obtain that. All right. So, for example, let's say music, okay? You like to listen to music that is, sung by some singer, okay? Why do we pay money to listen to that music? Why do we pay money to listen to that music? Why do we pay more money to listen to music in our own, let's say, stereo or iPhone, okay, as opposed to the amount of money that we pay on the radio to listen to music? And how about when you think about how much do you pay to listen to that same music at a concert? Why? Haley says we want a specific music. Sabrina says the convenience. Okay. Okay. Xenoblade gives an example of the money supply. Money is also an economic good. As money becomes more common, the money becomes worth less. All right. So so it is really interesting that the more you have of a good, of an economic good, the less it costs. The less people are willing to pay for it. So Haley says specific songs, we want to filter it as well. So we are willing to pay more, for example, in our own stereo, because we can decide which songs to listen to. In the radio, we don't decide, so it's free because we don't decide on the music. Okay, Xenolith is Alex. Hi, Alex. Okay, now you are not anonymous. We rooted you out. Excellent. Okay, so why do we pay more for a concert to listen to the same music? Why do we pay more for a concert? Alex says, why does everybody like platinum or gold? Because there is not much of it. So you see that it's not only because some of these things are useful, but because they are more rare, they are more scarce, okay? And so the price, this is a very important thing to understand. The price of a good signals the relative scarcity of that good, okay? So the price of something is a sign of how much or how little of that there is, okay? Emma says, probably because we get to see the artist performing that live. That's right. And so we are willing to actually, we think of, it's not just the act of hearing the music, but hearing the music being performed live is more rare than listening to a recording, okay? The recording, you can listen to it anytime you want. But the live performance, that is rare. That is, once in a while, the artist is going to be here, close in town, and so I'm going to be able to listen to the live performance. It's still the same music. It sounds pretty much exactly the same. But because it's a more rare experience, I'm willing to pay more for that, okay? Yeah. So teenage kids get economics, the entire government doesn't. That's right. Okay, sometimes you feel really that way. All right. So now let's talk about the difference between wants and needs. Let me go back here to the economic problem article. And here there are some definitions about that. So it says needs are material items people need for survival, okay? Such as food, clothing, housing, wear. I don't know what wear means. I think that needs to be clarified. So we need to edit this article and make it better, really. So needs are things that people actually need for survival, okay? Wants are not necessarily things that are necessary for survival, but are things that we are willing to pay for because there is a desire for that particular product, okay? So, for example, do we need music? Okay, do we need music? Is that a need or a want? Sabrina says, needs, you die without it. Want, you won't die if you don't have it. That's right. Okay, that is absolutely right. Okay, now let's see something. Music is a want. Excellent. Yeah. Let's see something that is actually a very important need. Okay, let's say we all need to breathe air. You agree that air is something that we all need? So Sabrina says food is a need, water is a need, okay? So but we also, everyone needs air, don't we? Okay. But why is it that we don't pay for air? 3 minutes without air and you are gone. Sometimes even less. I don't know if you could, probably about 3 minutes now. Okay. But why is it that we don't pay for air? That's right, because it's everywhere. And Sabrina, it's interesting in fact, it doesn't have a cost to produce, okay? It's not the cost of production that determines the price of something. This is a very important point, okay? It's not how much it costs to produce, it is how much of it there is around. So we don't pay for air because there's there's an overabundance of air. There's enough air for everyone, okay? So, yeah, why pay for something when you're practically swimming in it, all right? So, yeah, so we have really so much of that. Plants make the air, okay? They do it willingly and freely. I'm very grateful for the plants doing it, but the reason why we don't pay for it, it is a very important need, probably is the top, number one need, okay? We need air, okay? But we don't pay for it because we have it. There is an overabundance of that. It's not that it doesn't, the cost of production, all right? It is actually how much of it there is. Now, how about water? How about water? What happens with water? Does water have a price? Okay, there is a lot of water around, but what do we pay for? What are we paying? We pay for it in our homes. So in our homes, we pay the utility company to pump the clean water to our homes. Okay. Again, Sabrina, don't focus on the cost, but focus on the abundance, all right? Because Sabrina says it takes money to transport it. Yeah, but the issue really is the amount of water, okay? And really what we want is not just water, but we want clean water, okay? So we pay for the clean water, not the dirty water, all right? And clean water isn't everywhere. That is the problem. That is why water now has a price, okay? Now, why do we pay for bottled water? What is the difference between the water that comes out from the faucet, okay? And let's assume that the water that comes out from the faucet is clean, okay? It's not going to kill you. It's just clean, good water. But some people pay for bottled water. They buy the little waters, Okay. Sabrina says it's everywhere in some places, but it has to be moved to others. Even water from the ocean has to be clean. Yes, water from the ocean is not drinkable. It's not good for much, really, for us, because it is salt water, all right? So Haley says the water in the bottle is purified and enhanced. It has better taste, all right? So you see that now we are really kind of splitting hairs between now moving a little bit away from water as a need and seeing the bottled water as a want. Okay, people are willing to pay more for bottled water, okay, because it has perceived, okay, and let me emphasize the issue is perceived better characteristics than the water coming from the tap, all right? I literally cannot see much difference, okay? At least here in Saratoga Springs in Utah, where I live, we have pretty good tasting water, okay? And so I really don't see the difference between one and the other. My wife, she buys bottled water, okay? So, and takes it in the car and everything. So I think that she's paying for the convenience of having the water in these nice little bottles that are transportable, okay? All right. So some people actually pay for better bottled water, yeah, okay. Madeline doesn't like bottled water. Sabrina says Ohio is known for its bad water. Michigan has great well water. All right. Now let me tell you something. Okay, I don't know Ohio. I haven't been there to Ohio, so I cannot say that. But a lot of people basically have marketed, okay, have done basically marketing campaigns to, if you wish, defame the municipal tap water, okay, and saying, oh, it's bad, it tastes bad, and this and that and everything, and then they turn around and they sell you bottled water, okay? So they create a different perceived need of that, okay? So that is a really interesting conundrum, really. And imagine how much, you know, if we pay, let's say that we pay $1 for a little bottle of water, okay, how much does it cost to produce that water? How much does it cost to produce a bottle of water? And let me tell you, many times the bottled water that you buy at the store in Walmart, Costco, and so on, it actually says, you know, this is municipal source, okay? So it is actually bottled water that they take from the faucet, okay? So they don't do any processing, nothing else, okay? Haley says 90 cents. Sabrina says the bottles have to be made out of plastic, which is made of oil, which has to be drilled out of the ground. Yeah, so there is a lot of processing for the bottle. The water, the cost of the water is probably less than a cent. The cost of the bottle is probably more like 3 cents per bottle, okay? Considering even that it has to be done, everything. So Madeline estimates about 19 cents. So can you see that there is no relation between what we pay, the price that we pay, with the cost? Because there you have an example of something that costs very, very little, okay? Very little to produce, but we are willing to pay relatively more money, okay? So we pay about 97 or $1, you know, for bottled water. Why? Is because we perceive that is the value of that bottled water, okay? We perceive that to be the value. That is not the cost. It's completely separate from the cost, okay? So it is very important to understand and distinguish there the issue that the price is actually what people are willing to pay because of the perceived scarcity of the good, okay, of the good or the service. Mm-hmm. So Madeline says the smart water bottles are about $2 to $3, depending on where you find it. Yeah, why people pay for that? Okay, oh, because it is smart water. Now you are actually paying for the marketing, okay? You're paying actually for the publicity and all that. That raises the cost, okay? But they are actually making it creates in your mind or in the mind of the consumers the idea that, oh, this is a smart water. This is not just water, okay? This is not a hydrogen and oxygen, okay? That is what I really need. This is smart water, okay? And it is really all in the heads of the consumer. So it's all a perceived need. It becomes a higher need, and so that is why people are able to pay more. Mm-hmm. Wow, you feel so smarter already. You take some and you feel smarter. Okay. Actually, you know, in my account, I think that it feels like, wow, you just pay a ton of money for that water, okay? It's the same water as this one that I have here for nothing, you know, so you see how the economy moves, all right? So here we talk about the issues of the economic problem. So the economic problem is really, all right, so considering all the wants and needs that are out there, how are we going to allocate the resources in order to satisfy the more wants and needs in an economy. So this article, something that I don't like about this article is that it actually faces the approach that it proposes to solve the problem is, an issue of how do we allocate resources, thinking that someone, either a group of people, economists, or something, needs to orchestrate, okay, the allocation of these resources, making decisions about what to produce and how to produce it in order to satisfy these needs, all right? Now, the interesting thing is that in a free economy, okay, where you don't have people or groups of people deciding what to produce, things are produced best, okay, and at the better cost. So now I'm going to play here for you a short video of Milton Friedman talking about a pencil, all right? And I want you, this is actually a classic example in economy about the power of the free market and how when people are actually free, you can create a lot of things at a very, very low cost, okay? And it actually makes this problem of deciding how to allocate resources, it almost magically goes away, okay? So let's listen to this video, all right?
Look at this. There's not a single person in the world who could make this sense. Remarkable statement? Not at all. The wood which is made, for all I know, comes from a tree that was cut down in the state of Washington. To cut down that tree, it took a saw. To make the saw, it took steel. To make the steel, it took iron ore. This black center, we call it lead, but it's really graphite, compressed graphite. I'm not sure where it comes from, but I think it comes from some mines in South America. This red top up here, the eraser, bit of rubber, probably comes from Malaya, where the rubber tree isn't even native. It was imported from South America by some businessmen with the help of the British government. This brass ferrule, I haven't the slightest idea where it came from, or the yellow paint, or the paint that made the black lines, or the glue that holds it together. Literally thousands of people cooperated to make this pencil. People who don't speak the same language, who practice different religions, who might hate one another if they ever met. When you go down to the store and buy this pencil, you are in effect trading a few minutes of your time for a few seconds of the time of all those thousands of people. What brought them together and induced them to cooperate to make this pencil? There was no commissar sending out orders from some central office. It was the magic of the price system, the impersonal operation of prices that brought them together, got them to cooperate to make this pencil so that you could have it for a trifling sum. That is why the operation of the free market is so essential, not only to promote productive efficiency, but even more, to foster harmony and peace among the peoples of the world.
All right. Okay. So, excellent. So this is a very, very interesting example. It's a classic example, really, that you can actually think about anything, all right, that has been created. In a free economy, the production of that pencil is actually voluntary cooperation of hundreds, thousands of people mixing their skills, the things that they want to do, that they are able to do, and so on, in order to create lots of products, okay? So for example, you think about the wood, okay? You are thinking about people that are willing to plant trees, to let them grow, invest on that, and then log the trees, mill them, and everything to produce lots of things, okay? So it would be not only the, the production of wood for making pencils, but the same wood that is made for pencils, it can be used for furniture, homes, art, lots of different things. The person planting the tree and logging the tree doesn't know what the wood is going to be used for. No one knows. Just people then are willing to be able to buy that and use it for their many different ideas, okay? And the incredible thing when you think about, for example, the pencil that is so common, okay, so cheap, really, all right? But in order to make one pencil, you need to actually bring together the skills, the technology, the coordination of goods and everything of thousands of people. And in a free market, that happens really kind of automatically. No one has to force people to make the decisions of what to produce or what technology to create and so on in order to create a pencil. All that is done in a very efficient way. Okay, so the idea really of a free economy is that the people are able to interact, and agree on the different prices of things and providing the different things at the best possible price. Okay, so it is very interesting that even though we have this issue of scarcity, when you free the economy, when you let people actually decide by themselves what to produce, what to do in order to satisfy needs, that has always been the most efficient way of actually providing the goods, the economic goods, at the lowest price. Okay, and so all the other economic models that try to solve this problem of allocation of resources, whenever economic schools try to do it in a controlled way, basically deciding what to do and who should do this and that, it always is more expensive and a lot more inefficient than when people are left free to produce it on their own. Okay, so let me see, Sabrina is putting here a comment. We are talking from all over the world over an electrical current that travels hundreds of miles every second using machines that are super complicated and are programmed by people we don't even know. Maybe even machines that were made and programmed and the material are from all over the world that are collected by people we will never meet. The web is a super huge and complicated machine, really. And think about it, okay? Think about the technology that goes into actually making all these things possible, and how much do we pay for it? Okay? When you think about that, and so yeah, the problem is that when we use it just for looking at funny cat pictures, okay, so that is why we need to actually think about the things that we do and use it for more important things than funny cat pictures, okay. But that is a really interesting thing. Imagine. Do you think that, let's say, the internet or the computer technologies would have been possible to create in a control economy? in economy where people decide, okay, you need to make microchips and we need to do them this way and so on. It is interesting that if you were to actually do it in a controlled way, it would never happen as efficiently as if you let people do it freely, okay, interacting freely with each other. Okay. So let me give you a kind of a different perspective about this issue of scarcity or abundance, okay, on that. And so let's go to Doctrine and Covenants. This is Doctrine and Covenants, section 104. I think that in the lesson I have it wrong. Let me see. Yeah, I have it wrong. It's 104, so I need to correct that. So it's section 104, verses 13 to 17. Could someone read that? You have someone with a microphone that would like to read it, so I don't have to talk all the time.
I can if you want.
Please, go ahead.
Okay. For the earth is full, and there is enough and to spare. Yea, I prepared all things, and have given.
Sorry. Let's start in
sorry.
13. Yeah, no problem. So we'll do 13 to 17.
All of them, or just one?
All of them.
Okay. For it is expedient that I, the Lord, should make every man accountable as a steward over earthly blessings, which I have made and prepared for my creatures. I, the Lord, stretched out the heavens and built the earth, my very handiwork, and all things therein are mine. And it is my purpose to provide for my saints, for all things are mine. But it must needs be done in mine own way. And behold, this is the way that I, the Lord, have decreed to provide for my saints, that the poor may be exalted, and that the rich are made low. For the earth is full, and there is enough and to spare. Yea, I prepared all things, and have given unto the children of men to be agents unto themselves.
Okay. So having read these verses, what do you think about the theory of economic scarcity?
It's basically, I mean, what we've been talking about over the year. I think it's been based on, wants. We think, and I think we kind of overestimate while we're thinking about natural resources because, our Heavenly Father and, Jesus Christ, they did provide everything for us. They planned it out from the beginning, and they know what we need right now, and they know what we don't need right now. So when we as humans try to think that we know better, that we need more resources, we're just not putting enough faith in our Creator.
That's right, yes. Okay. And so imagine the Lord is saying to us, the earth is full and there is enough and to spare. Okay. So that could actually change the way that we think about the economic resources. Instead of thinking of them as scarce, okay, we can think of them as abundant, all right? And now what is our responsibility over the resources that we have? To
be accountable, 13, to not waste those resources or take advantage of them.
That's right. Okay.
Well, I mean, you take advantage of them, but not in a way that's bad.
Yeah. So we should use them, okay, wisely, efficiently, not abuse them, all right? And then there's something very, very important also that is, and in the context of this scripture, is that we should also share them with the poor and the needy. Okay? So it says, I, the Lord, have decreed to provide for my saints that the poor shall be exalted and the rich are made low. Okay. Verse 18, it says, Therefore, if any man shall take of the abundance which I have made, and impart not his portion according to the law of my gospel unto the poor and the needy, he shall with the wicked lift up his eyes in hell, being in torment. So in light of that, how are we actually wise stewards and accountable of our earthly blessings?
We're responsible to also share them, which is basically what you just said, not being selfish, because, we want everyone to be able to partake of the same blessings that we have. And the fact that we can hold that back if someone doesn't have clean water and we don't, that's just being selfish. And, that's not a godly attribute at all.
Yeah, And so it is really interesting how the Lord really wants to train us in Zion, okay? And the thing is that many times when we talk about living in Zion, we talk about a future time, a future place, okay? But you know what? I actually think if we choose, individually, I can choose to live in Zion now at this very moment. Okay? It is really how I see the things that I have, the things that I want to share with others. Okay? So Sabrina says we keep what we need and give the rest away. All right? The law of tithing and the fasting and fast offerings is kind of a training for that, isn't it? Okay. Because God, living the law of tithing and living the law of the fast and fast offerings, is really a way for us to live, be accountable and stewards over these blessings. It's a way for us as the rich to be made low, to humble ourselves, and for the poor to be exalted. Okay? It's a way for us to impart our portion according to the law of the gospel unto the poor and needy. All right. So it really is actually for us to understand how these things work. All right. So in the economies of the world, it is interesting to see that in the worldview of the economy, we have that things are scarce, and so we have to actually decide what to produce, what to buy, and this and that. We have to accumulate things because there's not enough. Mm-hmm. In the gospel, the Lord is telling us the earth is full and there's enough and to spare for everyone. Okay? So Alex says, I just thought of a thing. You know how platinum is really rare and dense. Maybe it's rare because it's dense. It's all sunk down to the core of the planet. That is a good point, okay? And actually I was reading, and I don't remember where it was, but when we were studying in geology about, the layers of the earth, okay, the core and the mantle and so on, there was one part where it actually says that the reason, in the formation time of the planet, when things were more hot, okay, and more malleable, you had that the denser minerals, the more heavy minerals, like platinum and gold, iron, and so on, basically sunk further down to the core, okay? So whenever we say that the core of the earth is made of iron, and it's molten iron, okay, it also has these precious minerals in it, okay? It has gold, silver, and platinum, and so on. The minerals that we have on the surface, gold and copper, platinum, and silver that is on the surface usually comes to the surface, to the crust, through volcanic activity, okay, igneous rocks, either plutonic activity or volcanic activity itself. That is what kind of moves these denser materials up. But that is why they are down. Okay, so very good point. So the Earth is really full and precious. Okay, and it is all a matter of how we live in order for the Lord to give us more of what we need. Okay, and He is willing to give to us, both to satisfy our needs and wants. Okay, so very good point and very good relation there, Alex. Okay, between the two. Good thing, good thoughts, really. All right. So now we can see, okay, the economic problem. We talk about needs and wants. We talk about the price of things, how the price of things is determined, and it is really determined by the perceived scarcity or the perceived value of something, okay? And we've also talked about how in a free economy, the economic problem is best solved, and we have seen that in examples in history, that the best way to solve the economic problem is for markets to be free, to make the decisions and the interactions freely without government or oversight, really. Okay, the more that people are free to make these decisions, the better things go. And then we talk here about the law of Zion and how when we are really free, then we not only are able to benefit from the free market benefits, but also we would have the blessings of God to really give us more of the abundance of the earth. Okay, so it really switches our view of the resources and the economic resources of our planet. Okay, so it goes from a completely model of control, okay, and almost kind of if you wish, a satanic type of plan, okay, of deciding how to allocate resources in the economy, to the viewpoint, okay, of being able to freely decide how to produce things and how to interact in a free economy, to the point where we are able to live in a Zion type of economy where you have together the blessings of freedom together with the blessings of the Lord to provide for everything. Okay, so does that make sense? Okay, I hope that it shed some light on these topics. All right. So now I'm going to switch a little bit of tack, and we are going to talk about the economy of Europe. All right. And so I did a quick search, okay, of map of economic activities of Europe. So the reason why I'm going to do this is because the assignment today, the assignment for the lesson is the following. Let me increase the size here, okay. So Sabrina says, aren't they almost bankrupt? Okay. Well, some economies of Europe are not doing very well mostly because they have followed a model of centralized economies. So a lot of European countries have adopted kind of a socialistic type of economic model where the governments are the ones kind of deciding a lot of the economic activities and so on. And so that causes all these type of inefficiencies and scarcities and everything. So that is kind of a problem that Europe is facing. And so let me go back here to the assignment. It says the assignment on a blank map of Europe, draw icons to represent the different economic activities of European countries and regions. Okay, so icons, and you can color things and so on, and make a key to understand the map. Then make a written report explaining how each one of these economic activities is linked to the natural geographical resources of that region. Okay, and then I give here an example of what I mean by that. All right, you can read that. So I did in Google a quick search for map of economic activities of Europe, and I found several of these, and I'm going to show you a couple of those. So here we have the Wikipedia article of Economy of Europe. I found this site that has lots of different maps, and in Europe, it has mapped where there's major economic activity. So I went to that map. This is the map that it shows, that website, major economic activities. And I really like this map. So you can use some of these maps to draw your own map. But I want you to draw it by hand, okay? I want you not to copy, you can copy, but you have to draw it by hand on your own. So start with a blank map of Europe and draw it on your own, and then you can scan it or take a picture and you upload that as your assignment. Does that make sense? That is what I want you to do. And so here you have the key to the map, and it shows some of the productions, the different types of things that are being produced, the regions. So you have major lumbering areas, the green, so Finland, Sweden, Russia, the Alps, that is the areas in Europe where it produces a lot of lumber. Major manufacturing districts, not on coal fields. So coal is one of the big resources of Europe, okay, especially in England and Germany, okay, and Russia, okay, here in Ukraine, all right. So these are the areas where it produces a lot of coal, and because of that, they are able to develop a lot of economic activity, okay. Emma says, do you want us to do transports as well? So here, this map includes some of the major transportation corridors. That is actually very interesting, okay? If you want, you can also do that because it helps you to understand how goods and services move between the different countries in Europe. But that is just an example. Then you have the different icons showing, for example, oil fields, the North Sea, coastal steel mills, so areas where steel is produced in Europe, okay, and a major iron ore deposit, so areas where mining is big, okay. Let's see, here they have it in Sweden, in the north of Sweden. There's also, of course, areas in Germany and in England that will have a lot of mining activities, all right? So let's see, here we have another example of a map similar to that one. This one doesn't have the routes, okay? So, but you see the different activities, the different type of activities, and then the different industries and production of things in the map. So this is, more talking about natural resources, coal, hydroelectric power, iron, natural gas, petroleum, precious metals, and uranium. See, there's lots of areas where they produce uranium, and that is used also for energy production. In Europe, they do a lot of nuclear plants for producing energy. Right. I like this map. It's also very interesting. It shows the different economic regions, the activities of those regions, and then the resources available in the different regions. Okay. I found this other website. Okay, this seems to be a high school in Florida, and it has a list of lots of different maps. And so I went to this map, economic activity in Europe, another good example of the same type of map where you have the use of land, what are the different things that land is used for, and then the natural resources that are there available and exploited for that. You know, it indicates major manufacturing centers, cities and places where manufacturing happens, all right, and things where things are produced, okay? So do you understand what the homework is and how to do it? Any questions on that? Okay. So I also, when you do the homework, I'm asking you also in the homework to write a paper. In the paper, you put the map, and then you do a report explaining how the activities are linked to the natural geographic resources of the region, okay? So you think in terms of geography. Let me give you an example, okay? So do you like Parmesan cheese? Do you like Parmesan cheese? You know, the cheese that you put in pasta usually. Well, this area, okay, this area here in Italy, all right, is called Parma, okay? It includes Venice, you know, and so on, but it's basically the valley of the Po River, okay? And in Parma, here the province of Parma, you see there's a lot of green, and it is interesting that Parmesan cheese comes here from Parma, all right? And the reason why Parmesan cheese is very specific is that the grass that grows there in Parma and the type of things that they grow there, they give that to the cows and to the goats, and it produces a particular type of milk with a flavor that actually is then mixed with a particular yeast to produce Parmesan cheese. So authentic Parmesan cheese grows here in the valley of the Po River, all right? And so that is why you have Parmesan cheese. Different areas in Europe, produce different cheese, and it all is linked to the type of weather and grasses and things that are being produced in that area. Okay, so as you study, the different economies, you can see what are the things, what are the natural resources that help to produce those things. Like, for example, here in the United Kingdom, the island of Great Britain has a central massive of mountains here that is very rich in coal and iron. And so this is the area where the steel of England comes from. Leeds, Manchester, Sheffield, Blackburn, they are very, very important steel producing areas because you have coal and iron deposits close by, all right? And then you see how, the British are famous for their railroad and so on. All that steel came from this area, okay? So you can see there how the geography of the place influences the economy, the things that are being produced, okay? All right, so I want to close by really sharing my testimony that I know I have a firm testimony of these promises that the Lord gives to us, okay? I really know that the earth is full and there is enough and to spare, and I need to learn better to think in this abundance mentality, in this mentality of being able to live in Zion type of society where I have enough to share with others. Okay. And I really want to share that as my testimony that the best type of economy is where we have this mentality of an abundance, having faith in the Lord that He has prepared every needful thing for us and for all of His children. And I want to share that in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen. So, who would like to offer the closing prayer for us? Okay, Sabrina, thank you. Would you like to please? Go ahead when you are ready.
Dear Heavenly Father, okay, this is weird. Okay. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for this day. Thank you for the opportunity to come together as a class. And please bless us that we will be able to take from this lesson and apply it to our lives. And we say these things in the name of thy beloved Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Thank you very, very much. All right, so there was some feedback there, but that is all right. Okay, well, thank you for joining the class. I'm going to be posting it in a few minutes if I can, okay? We'll see you. Bye-bye.